Hello everyone. Oh god. What the hell was that? Hold on, Oh, there we go. Whoop. OBS has this weird update where it adds this new button near where the unmute for the mic section is. And I guess it like enables some kind of monitoring. So it does a weird thing where I'm able to hear like an echo of myself in my headsets. It's very strange. That was a very strange thing. But hello, everyone. Hope everyone is doing really well today. So as you can tell from the title, this is going to be a predictions video or stream where I'm going to be going over the state of play that's going to be happening next week. And I haven't done one of these in a very long time for a few reasons. I think the most paramount reason is that I've kind of stopped putting so much importance on a state of play in my head as something, because these tend to be really inconsistent, right? Because you have state of plays that are they run the gamut. I've learned through the what has been 7 years that they've been doing this, that they tend to run the gamut from absolute dreck to, yeah, like Richard said, hey Richard, like mediocre to mediocre, and then you have some good ones, and then you have some really, really fantastic ones, and then you have some that are, or at least one that occurred the last time that blew away all of my expectations, like an atom bomb, basically, and delivered, I would say, maybe the best PlayStation focused presentation since E3 2016. That might be the last time I saw something that actually, like, to me, that presentation felt like the old PlayStation just going boom, 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 boom at that golden era of E3, where they were just coming into that place going, we're gonna take over, bitch, and you're not gonna give a shit about the rest of the stuff that comes before or after this. And there was that golden era between like 2013 to 2016 where they did stuff like that. What is it? So the another reason too that I have stopped doing these is because Sony tends to announce them very close to the chest, where they are only a lot of the time they only announce these maybe 2 days before they drop. You know, there's rumors floating around and everything, but I don't want to make a predictions video based on the rumor of a state of play or the rumor of a showcase. And they've also stopped doing the showcase nomiker anyway, but this time I feel comfortable coming here and doing this because one, Sony themselves are, and Sony can of course have a false sense of confidence, as we all know, but this is the first time I have seen them put a lot of heft behind this particular presentation. I think this is the first time probably since E3 that they really are pushing this as a big presentation from them, and they're going to be having in theater watch parties, and they're inviting content creators to come watch the showcase and stuff like that. I think even one of the people they invited was Paris Lily, who's like a big Xbox, like I associate him mainly with Xbox, so they're even inviting like a big Xbox guy to come watch this in the theater, and it's like, okay, that's interesting. But what I also found surprising is that they announced this almost 2 weeks, like a full 2 weeks in advance before this is supposed to drop, knowing full well that there is a lot of potential for leakage. And some things have already leaked, like we'll talk about. The showcase wasn't even a showcase. Well, I don't really even think they didn't put much emphasis on that showcase compared to like pre-showcase anticipation. Like they themselves put that kind of expectations on it, like they're doing with this. So I wanted to come here and just talk about what I think is going to be here, and then kind of dispel some of the notions that I've seen floating around as to what might be here. Because of course, whenever these get announced, you have people throwing out the craziest shit that I just look at and I go, guys, you're setting yourselves up for disappointment here. Just not. You need to calibrate your expectations the right way. So to do this, I have gathered a list of the things that, and I put them in a Google Doc, the things that are announced or heavily rumored from first and second party. And I'm going to put them in this category of like guaranteed, high chance, 50-50, low chance, no way. So any of these 5 categories, and then we'll have a complete list by the end of this. Break-in won't be there. Well, okay, so let's start with that then. So let's start with break-in, which is apparently allegedly, according to some people out there, is going to be the rebrand of Fair Games, which is that now infamous live service that PlayStation announced almost 3 years ago now, and we haven't heard anything officially about it since then. Damn, I can't. Yeah, I mean this was announced in the presentation, the showcase that they had in 2023 before even Concord was announced, because Concord was announced towards the latter half of it. And then you had Fair Games, which opened the show, which in retrospect was a really stupid idea to do that, because it put a lot of eyes on it and people just immediately disliked the vibe and just how it was being pushed as this new big exclusive from PlayStation. And then of course it was one of the big games in their initial live service vision that Jim Ryan and Herman Hulst had. What is it? And of course, Concord gets referenced again. We can't have another presentation without bringing up Concord. Woo. Well, I mean, I know you're joking a little bit, Richard, but I think it's always valuable to bring up Concord because, like I've said, that game is almost like a ghost that haunts PlayStation. But with Fair Games, I'm almost impressed that they have I don't know if they have some kind of deal with the Canadian government, or if the studio is just really cheap to run because they get tax breaks. I don't know what the deal is with Fair Games or Break-In still existing. I really don't understand why it still exists, considering, I'm sure there is someone out there who's looking forward to it. I'm not going to say everybody hates it. Everybody wants it to just fuck off and die. But I would say the vast majority of people out there, especially PlayStation fans, just want this game to fuck off and die. Because it just, again, it represents just a vision of PlayStation that I find, at least in like my opinion, I find to be wholly disagreeable and wholly unappealing. So as far as Break-In goes, or Fair Games, or whatever the hell you want to call it now, I would think PlayStation would be smart enough to not put this in the presentation in the state of play, because if they show this in the state of play, they have to know what's going to happen. They have to know that people are going to look at this and it's just going to get memed to death online, and people are going to call it Concord 4 or Concord 3 or whatever Concord number we're on now. Probably 4, considering we had like High Guard and then we had Spellcasters Chronicles, which to me are like, if Concord is a genre of live service, those are Concords. And I think they have to know. They have to know that people are just not going to enjoy it. But it's like, they do have to announce this at some point. And I think what's going to be telling about Fair Games or Break-In or whatever the hell they want to call it now, to try to remove the stink from the name Fair Games, I wonder if they are going to show it during the state of play. And then, oh, hey, RJ Emerson. If they end up showing Fair Games, at the very least they show gameplay. Yeah, oh, for sure. I agree with that. But they also have to announce that it's playable on that day as well. You know what I mean? Like, they can't do the thing like they did with Concord, or like Wildlight did with Highguard, where they go, here's this game, and then it's coming out later. No, what they have to do with Fair Games or Break-In or whatever they want to call it, they're going to have to make it playable that very day. They can't do this thing where they say, come beta test it, or hell, even just release it in early access. Just say, it's now available in early access. Come play it free to play. Don't put any price on it. And that's just going to be, I'm sorry, that is just the position they are putting themselves in. That's just how it's going to have to be, because no one's going to want to pay for this. Very few people are going to give a shit. I think even very few people are going to give a shit even if it's free to play. I think there's going to be a small burst of interest just from the state of play, and then it just dies like that, like Highguard did. So as far as where I'm not going to say no way. I think there's a small chance it will be there, but I do think Fair Games has a low chance of being there. Or, I'm debating between 50-50 and low chance. Oh, hey, Nero, how's it going? No, you're good. Don't worry about it, Nero. It's all good. Because PlayStation can be stupid. They can be really, really stupid. So I don't know. But then again, like if they revealed Horizon Hunter's Gathering away from the state of play that they were having back in February, and because they knew what was going to happen. So there is some self-awareness there. So I'm going to stick with my guns and say low chance for Fair Games. And I think if it does appear, they're going to have to just release it that day in early access. They cannot do this thing where they announce it and then they go go wait for it for a few weeks or a few months. No. So where do y'all want to go next? I'll leave it to you guys to decide which one we're going to go for next. Because I have a section where we're going to do the first and second party stuff. And then I have a thing down here where we're going to talk about some of the choice third party stuff that I think, I don't know, it has a chance, but it's the stuff that I keep seeing pop up. So where would you guys like to go next? I think I'm going to get a sip of water. Wow. I still remember your reaction. You were like, no shit. Like, oh, for fuck's sake. Are you confident it will get canceled? At this point, no. I think they're gonna go for it. I think that's a dumb idea because I think they should just cut their losses while they can, because they have just spent so much time and so much money on this already. Even with those tax credits from the Canadian government, it's like I don't know how long this has been. I don't know. I don't know with this. I don't know why they keep this going. I don't get it. I really don't understand it, but that's what ego and generous tax breaks do. So we'll do Heretic Prophet next, and then we'll do God of War Fae. Richard for now. So Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, I think this is also, or because actually, like, it's interesting because these two kind of go hand in hand, the Fae spinoff and Intergalactic, where I actually think Intergalactic is not going to be here because God of War Fae, or whatever they decide to call it, is going to be there. I think this is part of the reason why they are going to be showing it off, the state of play off in theaters. Or let me just move up Wolverine as well, because that they confirmed that that's going to be there. Let me move that up. There we go. So so far, I think the only guarantees are God of War Fae and Marvel's Wolverine, or whatever they want to call this. I hope they come with a better name than God of War Fae. That would sound so stupid. I really don't care about Intergalactic. It's one of those games that I know I'm going to play when it comes out, but I'm not really that. I'm curious to see what it looks like. But honestly, like I think after the 1-2 punch of like Sons of Sparta and Saros from this year, I'm just getting really burned out on like the Sony story-driven isms that I see they're starting to bleed into all of these games now. And I really I know people are not going to like me saying this because they really don't like Neil Druckmann, but I think Neil Druckmann is actually one of the better writers under PlayStation's umbrella from a character interaction perspective. Maybe not thematic exploration, not pacing, but those little moments between characters, I think he does an excellent job at that. And Neil Druckmann has a really great usage of subtlety in certain situations. Like in Uncharted 4, there are moments of really great subtlety between Nate and Elena. And then in Last of Us Part 2, there's really great moments between Ellie and Dina, and then Ellie and Joel, especially the porch scene at the end, which I think is probably the best moment of that game, in my opinion. I don't think Intergalactic will be here, but I am curious to see what it is, and I hope it looks different at least like gameplay wise and like the whole like walkie-talkie aspect, I hope they infuse a little bit more subtlety into the game design and not making it so homogenized like what they do with a lot of their other games more recently. I really do genuinely believe there is some kind of initiative or like an influence campaign behind the scenes at PlayStation in order to make these games much less risk averse, much more overt with their storytelling and game design, much less subtle, focus more on like these like over the top grandiose themes that don't really land like how I think they expect. I'll try not to spoil too much about Saros, in case anyone here hasn't played it, but the story in that game is easily like I think it's like easily maybe the worst part of that game, unfortunately, because it is so just the dialogue is so dull and most of the characters are just not interesting, and you can see where their arcs are going, like coming on like a million miles away, and the storytelling is about as like subtle as a brick to the face in certain parts, and it's like, oh god, why is this here? It's a shame because the combat system of Saros is fantastic, but I'll talk about Saros another day, but like I have like a very very like complex, like complicated reaction to that game. And it's a shame because I was really really looking forward to it, but I'm a lot more mixed on it than I expected. But good gameplay for mediocre story. I would say Saros, I would say it's a great combat system in need of a more confident vision. A much more skilled and confident vision. I'll say that much because I want to do a video at the end of June, or at least at like at the beginning of July, where I talk about the games I've played in the first half of this year, because there are a few. I just haven't been doing individual videos really anymore. Okay, so where do y'all want to go next on this list? Because I'm trying to like think if there's anything else I haven't added here. I'm not gonna add goddamn Bloodborne 2. No, I already did God of War Faye. It's in the guaranteed. Well, maybe I can talk about it a little bit. So, I think God of War Faye is obviously gonna be here, whatever they end up calling it. This is one that I am. This is another one that I am concerned about the homogeny that I mentioned earlier, where there is this initiative behind the scenes at PlayStation to make their games as overt, like thematically overt and like just dialogue driven and like HBO movie brained kind of shit, where it's like this pretentious need to be this like, I don't know, grand statement about grief and loss and whatever. And I am so sick of it. I am so tired of these games. This is like the rare time I'll agree with IGN, because people got really mad at IGN when they did this. They did that article about, I think it came out before Ghost of Yote, where they were the writer was talking about how he's sick to death of these PlayStation games being all about this like misery, where they're just like, oh god, it's just all about revenge and grief and violence, and it's like, I understand the point he was trying to make, and I agree with it to a certain extent, because I too am getting a little tired. It's like, maybe if we had more variety among the big AAA stuff from them, where they were making stuff that actually did explore different topics and actually had better writers come in. But I think that's a big problem with PlayStation right now, where there's just I don't know what it is. Like, they just bring in the most boring people imaginable to write these games a lot of the time. It's a big problem in the AAA, like, Western industry anyway, or just, it's a big problem in the video game industry in general. It's just, we don't have a lot of good writers. This is another one too, where like, if God of War Faye is going to be another one of these that's all about grief and trauma and loss and revenge, I'm just going to be like, oh no, just do a fun, I don't know, like some of the details I heard about God of War Faye actually were interesting. where they talked about how it's going to be like a buddy road trip kind of thing with Faye and Tyr, and there's going to be like they're going to bounce from like different realities or different mythological realms. Like you got like Arthurian legend. I think like they said Merlin was going to be in it, which I'm like, what? Merlin from King Arthur? And then they're going to explore like Japanese mythology. They're going to have like Aztec mythology in there, and I'm like, that sounds dope. I'm like, okay, if it's going to be something like that where Faye and Tyr are going on a quest and they like traverse the different mythological realms, and the gameplay is more like the old games where they actually are, it's not the stupid ass one shot camera, it's not the over the shoulder walkie talkie kind of thing. It's got more like a panned out camera. It's doing like the angles like what the old God of War games used to do. I think that could be really cool. I think that could feel like a little bit of a breath of fresh air, despite my hesitation about some of the story stuff that they might cram in because it's PlayStation and they gotta do a fucking like this over the top storytelling in their stuff. I don't mean over the top in terms of spectacle. I mean like not subtle, not like this very bland, very generic. The main point I'm trying to make is like I think like after Expedition 33 and like how skilled the storytelling in that game is with the explorations of grief and death and trauma, I really just that game like really ruined me where it's like I really don't want to hear it from PlayStation anymore about that. Like I'm just sick of it. And they just need to bring in more writers with more flair right now. I'm on a God of War fever right now. I'm liking the first game. Yeah, the original trilogy is like, I would say especially God of War 2 and 3 are like some of my I'd put those maybe in like my top 10 PlayStation games of all time. I love the God of War trilogy. I like the new God of Wars too. I just think I think once you get out of the main campaigns and you start doing the side stuff, that's when more of the problems with these games start to like rear their heads. And I do think the camera, the one-shot camera also plays a gigantic role in hindering the visual presentation of those games and just making them much more limited than I would like them to be. I'm just exhausted from everything being heavy story driven. It's not the fact that it's heavy story driven, it's the fact that it's heavy story driven with boring writing a lot of the time. That's my problem with it. If we got something like Expedition 33 or like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which has like a pretty good story and good, very good writing, very good characters, I think that could work. But the way it is now, it just it's too bland. Anyway, let's see what's next. I'll get Marathon out of the way. I think Marathon is guaranteed to be there, and I don't want to talk. I don't want to fucking talk about Marathon anymore right now. How's everything, Razor? Sorry I'm late. No, you're good, David. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Look, I've said what I've said about Marathon. People can get mad about me. People can get mad at me, and people can tell me that I'm like a hater and I'm gonna ruin Bungie's chances. But it's like, sorry, no one's doing more damage to Bungie than Bungie themselves. So, yeah. But I think Marathon will be here. I think they're gonna do a big push because I think the State of Play comes out the same day that Season 2 launches in Marathon. So they're going to do the big like, hey, we have a free to play weekend or week or whatever it is. Hey, Season 2 is out. Hey, we have all these changes. Hey, PvE, and I think they're gonna tease. I think they're probably gonna tease stuff for Season 2. We'll see if it does anything. I have my doubts that it will, but I guess they're gonna try. Let's do Spider-Man 3. Okay, so Spider-Man 3, I'm gonna put that as well, also in the no way category. Because this is another one that I think actually this is another one that I'm not like really all that looking forward to, honestly, because I am very blah about the Spider-Man 1. I'm very blah about Spider-Man 2. I really like Miles Morales. I would really like it if they did a smaller game in between, like the style of that. Even then, Miles Morales, I think the writing is kind of bland, but at least it's a very fun game. It's much the storytelling like it's okay as it is, like it's fine. I do think it's significantly better in Miles Morales than it is in Spider-Man 2. I think Spider-Man 2 genuinely might have the weakest story in any first party game this generation. Like, I'm really trying to think of a story that I disliked more than Marvel Spider-Man 2's from this generation. That was a first party title. Cause like I made fun of Ghost of Yote, but like Ghost of Yote's story was better than that. I didn't really care. Like I was kind of like about Forbidden West, but like that story. Yeah, I don't know. But I don't think it's going to be there. I think Marvel Spider-Man 3 is going to be saved for the PS6 whenever that comes out. It'll probably be cross generation with the PS5. Hey AirJam, or no, sorry. Hey Red Robot, how's it going? I hope we get something regarding Onimusha Way of the Sword. I actually have that. I have that later on the list, just because. So I have a section where I'm going over the first party stuff, and then I'll do some of the choice like third party cuts. And Onimusha is in that, and I do think Onimusha will either be here or at the Keeley thing, the summer cringe fest or whatever the fuck. So. Richard, Spider-Man 2 might have the weakest superhero video game storytelling. I won't agree with that because I think there are like some of these like really shitty superhero games. I would say in the AAA space, it has like one of the weaker ones, but that's not really until very recently. That's not really like I don't know because like a lot of the other ones are just so like slapdash. You have like the Activision crap that came before. I low-key had a tougher time replaying the second game than the first, even though I liked both. It's just because I haven't replayed the second one. I've replayed the first one, and I've replayed Miles Morales a few times. That's actually like a big comfort game for me, especially around the holidays. It's like a big, like, I lovely, like, little Christmas vibe that game has. I just think the story in Spider-Man 2 is so just messy, and I really don't know what they were trying to do with that. I don't know what they were trying to do with Venom. And again, it plays into the heavy-handedness of the writers at Insomniac. And then I felt like, okay, so I'm gonna say this. I know this doesn't make me sound very good, like if or anything, but I know people like to cry like woke over and over and again. And I do think woke has a very like specific definition that I think gets abused to like no end. I would argue there are parts of Spider-Man 2 that I look at and I kind of just like I look at it and I'm like, guys, you don't need to try this hard to get kudos from your friends in the industry, because it's like they go like so far over the top with making like New York this like utopian, like there's like so much adoration for utopia, for New York City and how diverse it is. And they're talking about like what is it? There was like a very strange way they described like the black musical artists in that the which I actually did like. I liked the side quest where Miles Morales was trying to get the museum, the black musician museum items from the robbers and putting them back in. But like some of the descriptions that they had and the way they talked about it, like I've heard from black content creators who like looked at that and they were like, what the fuck is Insomniac talking about? Like this is not, we don't refer to ourselves like this. This is like a very like California West Coast kind of thing. Like this is just so like it's so lame. And then of course you have like the dumb like side quests with Miles's girlfriend where they try to be like, look at us, we're trying to get an award from the Game Awards for best accessibility or games for impact, where we have a whole quest around his deaf girlfriend in a Spider-Man game. And I'm like, okay, like, sure. Look, I don't have a problem with playing as like a deaf person usually in a game, but it's like, guys, come on. Like, this is Spider-Man we're talking about. This is Spider-Man, okay? This is Spider-Man, okay? I don't want to play as Miles' deaf girlfriend. I don't want to play as MJ. I don't want to play I don't even want to play as Peter Parker when he's like in his apartment or walking around that stupid science museum or riding around on a bicycle. Like, I don't. It's called Spider-Man. Let me be Spider-Man. I don't play Kingdom Hearts to then for it to then go, why don't you play as this random shit muncher in Twilight Town and have them walking around and follow them? And it's like, no, I don't want to do that. Unless it's Roxas. That's different. So anyway, let me read through some of the comments as well. I already read that one, sorry. So Red Right Robot, still baffled Spider-Man 2 has multiple nominations for Best Narrative. Well, because the people who vote especially in the Game Awards, I would argue they're just really just... A lot of them, I think, see AAA, or they know people. This is a very incestuous industry, where the people at these voting bodies, they have friends within the industry. They give people higher scores. They give people more kudos. There's a greater emphasis on AAA quality being a thing. And it's just like, it's just a very incestuous thing, which just really, like, I hate it when people try to gaslight you or gaslight anyone. So that's not real. That doesn't exist. And it's like, yeah, it does. Like, come on. You like, there is no way anyone can convince me that objectively Spider-Man 2's story is worthy of a Best Narrative nomination. Come on. No way. The Venom game will for sure happen on PS5 if it got revived. Let's actually talk about that next after I answer RJ Emerson's. What do you think could make Spider-Man 3 top over 1 and 2? For one thing, they really need to fire almost all of the writers in that room and bring on people who actually know how to write dialogue with flavor. They need to do that, because Insomniac hires the most boring writers in this industry, in my opinion. And that extends to the recent Ratchet and Clank games as well, because those games are like, the writing in them is about as dull as a fucking like knife that is like all the edge has been sanded off of it. It is so boring. I think Insomniac writes games like they're scared of games journalists writing articles about them. They have no idea how to write edgy dialogue or edgy characters anymore, or anything that has any cleverness. Like, I complain about PlayStation in general, but I think the biggest offenders are Insomniac when it comes to the writing, which is why I'm like, when I see Wolverine, I'm kind of like, okay, like, it looks fun from a gameplay perspective. Like, yes, you're cutting up people left and right, yeah, but when I start listening to that dialogue, I have a feeling I'm gonna be like, ugh, like, God, this is so boring. Ugh. But besides that, I think it really needs... I don't know what could make it top 1 and 2. I mean, I obviously, I think whatever they do next, I think it might be better than Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 is that's a low bar to leap over. But I don't know. I just really don't have any confidence that it's going to be better than 1, because like, and even the 1 I don't have the highest opinion of, but I don't know. I definitely think that, I just think it's almost all there, except I think what's interesting for me about Spider-Man 1, the reason I'm very like soft on it, is because I think the open world design is really fucking boring, and the mission design is really fucking boring. But then they have the storytelling in that game, and it's actually a pretty good Spider-Man story. It's actually got pretty decent dialogue in that one. And I really liked the relationship between Peter and MJ in that game before they fucked up her face and fucked up that character in Spider-Man 2. And then also with Spider-Man 2, it was like the gameplay was better and the design around the map was better, but then they had the story and it fucking sucked. So it's like one step forward, one step back, and it's like, okay, well, we're back where we started from now. So anyway, but let me talk about Venom. I don't think Venom is like no way, but it's like the thing with that one is I don't even know if it exists still. You know what I mean? Like there's so much mixed reporting around that game that it's like I don't know whether to believe that it's actually real anymore, you know? Like I don't know. I would be curious to see it, but the problem with it is I wonder if Tony Todd was able to complete voice work for it before he died. That's the thing too. It's like I don't know if the full performance is there. Like I don't know. I hope it's there. I think they've confirmed that it might be, but because I remember Tony Todd saying after Spider-Man 2 came out that only around 10% of his dialogue was actually in the game. So where did that other 90% go? You know? Now, unfortunately, he's passed away, so no one can ask him, and even then he'd be under a strict NDA. So I think there is a slight chance that Venom might be there as something that comes out next year. But I wonder if they're going to do the Miles Morales thing where they talk about it at the PS6 reveal instead of, because that would be a big thing to have. You know, because you want to bring your big shit to a big new console reveal. And I figured Marvel's Venom might actually be something that people would want, especially if the rumors are true that he'd be fighting Carnage in this one. Which, even then, as kind of like soft as I am about these Spider-Man games, you know, that could actually be pretty cool. I would actually I'd be kind of down for that. Excuse me. Speaking of Marvel Tokon, Nero, I think we'll go with that next. I don't have a lot to say about this one because I think it is a guarantee that it will be there. I think they're going to show off either the Doctor Doom or the team that Doctor Doom is leading, or the Midnight Suns one that Ghost Rider is a part of. But I think that's a guarantee. Let's go with this is an easy one. God of War Trilogy remake. That's definitely a no because they just started development on that probably. That's probably not going to be, probably not going to see that for a long time. And then Gran Turismo 8, I think that's a no for me. I heard a new demo of Marvel Tokon was good. Oh, really? Well, that's good. I am curious to give it another try, despite kind of like I was a little bit disappointed with the gameplay of it in that last demo that they did. So I hope it can win me back. Because I do want to check it out someday. I don't think I'm going to buy it day one, just because I don't usually buy fighting games day one. But I think Tokon looks really cool. And then they cleared up, because they had that rumor going around, or the mistranslation, that the single player story wouldn't have gameplay. And I saw that and I was like, what? That sucks. Like, why would they do that? But then they clarified it later that it's like, no, there's gameplay in it. There are matches against NPCs. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. So let's do Physant from Kojima Productions. Normally, I would say something that is that far out. I'd put that in the no way category. But Kojima likes to tease things really far in advance. Oops. Kojima likes to tease things really far in advance. And he doesn't necessarily need to show gameplay for people to get excited. So I think there's a small chance of it being there, and that we'll get to see, like, if it comes, I think it's going to be the reveal of the main character. Because we only know some of the side characters that are going to be in Physint and some of the actors playing those characters, but we don't know who the main character is yet. And I think if Kojima is going to be there and show a trailer for Physint, then that's what's going to be the case. So let's do... Let's actually do this, the teaser for an IP revival. Because, look, I hate to be this guy, but I know people are they're like praying that PlayStation is going to go back to their older IPs, like Infamous, like Ape Escape, like Killzone or Resistance or whatever, any one of those. When I look at it through the lens of the modern PlayStation philosophy of make it bland, make it safe, we need guaranteed hits because our budgeting is so fucked up right now and our pipeline is so fucked up and our management is so fucked up that all we need are guaranteed hits. We can't have anything else. IP revivals don't, to me, really fall under that umbrella of philosophy. Like, I hate to say it, because trust me, guys, there's nothing I would like more than to see Ape Escape come back. I would really like to see Infamous come back. I would like to see Killzone. I mean, even though I'm not a Killzone fan. Like I said before in a past video, if Killzone ever got announced and it was just a teaser trailer and it just showed like the eyes of the Hellghast break through the darkness, I'd be like, fuck yeah. Oh no, I was getting a Sly Cooper, don't worry. Especially Sly Cooper. I would love to see Sly Cooper come back, but that to me does not. And the problem with PlayStation is that it can't just be an IP revival. It has to be this big thing. They have to spend an eye-watering amount of money on it, and then they have these overinflated expectations as to what it's gonna do, and then they get pissed off that it doesn't do the thing that they want, and then they get mad, and then they're like, oh, fuck this, nobody really wants it. And it's like they self-sabotage in order to make a point. And I'm kind of like, I just don't... I'm not going to say no way for this, but I will unfortunately be putting it... I will unfortunately be putting it in the low chance category. I just don't... Or Twisted Metal too, I had that down there. I just don't... I'm sorry, everyone. Like, I would really love to be that guy that has hope in a big IP revival. But I just don't see it. I don't see it right now until a day comes where new, smarter leadership comes in to the management team, and the day where these studios that they have under their umbrella aren't so overly protective of their IP. Because that's another thing too, is that I don't think Sucker Punch, especially for Infamous and Sly Cooper specifically, I don't think they would ever allow any other studio to work on those games anymore. Like, I don't see it. I don't see it. Not, and they had a studio. PlayStation had a studio that could have done that. And then they closed them down with Bluepoint. So I think if they were to do anything like this, it would just be a remake. I think they're just going to go with the safe bet. It's like, hey, you remember Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus? Didn't you love that game? Well, now you can play it with like the prettiest PS5 graphics. You remember Ape Escape? Now you can replay it in Unreal Engine 5 or something stupid like that. It's not going to be new things. It's just going to be remakes, which again, they could have done that. And it would have, even then, it leaves more of a bad taste in my mouth now that Bluepoint is gone, because they could have been doing this instead of a fucking God of War live service. So let me read some of the comments. I also think we might keyword what? Hold on. I also think we might get a teaser trailer for the sequel to Stellar Blade or Tides of Annihilation. I think it's too early for Stellar Blade, but I have Tides of Annihilation on the list later actually. I'd love to see Legend of Dragoon come back, but it's pretty unlikely. Yeah, I would like to see that too because I want to see PlayStation try. I've said this. I sound like a broken record at this point, but I need PlayStation to try new genres again. You know, I would like for them to try making another JRPG that is not some overly expensive crap where they try to make it the Final Fantasy killer or anything like that. Just make it a fun JRPG, a fun turn-based RPG with good writing and good characters. Just start there. Start small and then work your way up. Don't swing for the fences. You can hit to second base. That's fine. Second base is still second base. It's better to hit there and get on base than actually like fucking swing for a home run and then miss. And then it's like, ah, fuck, you struck out. Like I'd like to see them try something that's like an anime JRPG. That would be pretty cool. I mean, fuck, they own like how many anime properties? Sony? Like, hello? If they do Infamous, should they do a story with Delsin or Cole? I think they should do a new character. I've always thought they should do a new Infamous set in Japan. I don't know what the ability would be, but I think a game set in like Japan or like China or like a big East Asian city. I think that would actually be pretty cool. That'd be like a good breath of fresh air. And like something like the world of not the ambiance, but something like how Ghostwire Tokyo looks, like that environment. I think that could be really cool for an Infamous game. But unfortunately, I just think the chances of that are very low, sadly. Let's do Project Heartbreak. So this has been the long in development project from one of PlayStation's newer acquisitions, Firesprite, who did this game that I hate called Persistence. And then they did Horizon Call of the Mountain, which bombed. They did that with Guerrilla Games. I'm amazed this studio is not dead yet. I'm amazed there were layoffs at the studio, especially when they decided not to do any more VR games or when the Twisted Metal game got canceled, because they were the developer that was working on the Twisted Metal live service game before it got canceled. But now their only project seems to be Project Heartbreak, which we haven't seen this. Like, I think it's still in development. I think last I checked, it was still in development. And when you actually look at some of the rumors and the job listings on Firesprite's website, you can see stuff that relates to this project. But as far as it appearing here, I think it's a 50-50. Because especially if it's an Until Dawn sequel, I think their best bet was trying to do this when the movie was coming out. Instead, they went for that stupid ass remake from that what was it called? The Ballistic Moon? I think that's what it was called. Ballistic Moon. I almost said Blue Moon. I'm combining Blue Point and Ballistic Moon. But I don't know. I think now Until Dawn is not exactly the big brand name that PlayStation might think it is. And I appreciate them trying to do another like survival horror, like choose your own adventure kind of thing, but I don't know with this project. I'm not really all that. I'm more interested in finally talking about it more than actually playing it. But I think as far as it being here, I think it's a 50-50 chance. For Loop. Oh man. Okay, so this is another live service thing. They showed it at the last State of Play. It's had a few. I actually got invited to the beta test, and they gave me like 4 extra keys to use, but I never accepted it because I would have to I would have to join their Discord, and I was like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to join on Discord. That's okay. And I didn't really want to try it in if I'm gonna do that, if I have to go log into their Discord. I hate it when these companies do this now, where if you want to try out a beta, they go, hey, come to our Discord. It's like, no, I don't want to put my Discord in. I don't use Discord all that much anymore. No thanks. I don't want yet another Discord channel that I have to like mute notifications from. It's just I don't want to do it. But as far as For Loop being here, I think there is a, because they showed it during the last state of play. It would all depend if they got enough feedback from the betas and they've made enough changes behind the scenes to then want to announce maybe an open beta. So I think I will put this as a 50-50 there. I could see it going either way with For Loop, even though this is another one where I don't understand what PlayStation saw in this to want to partner up with Bad Robot Games, and okay. Horizon Hunters Gathering. Let's do another live service. This one, I'm going to say there is a high chance, because even though it might piss some people off to see this, I think there is a high chance for this to be here because they've had a few beta tests by this point, and I think they're going to want to open up the playing field for people, and they're probably going to want to show more of the single player aspect of the game. So what better time to show off the single player aspect of this game than at a state of play, where it's kind of like your built-in core audience will be watching. So you're going to have to make a case to them if you really want to if you want to have a chance of this being successful, you're going to have to make a case to them that this is a full-on canon story that is very important to the Horizon universe, and you will want to buy it in order to experience the story. And please God, just buy our live service, even if you never play with friends, even if you just play by yourself and have. I think they even confirmed that there are going to be NPCs, AI-controlled NPCs in the game. So I think there's a high chance for Horizon Hunters Gathering to be here. But before I move on, let me look at some of the comments. For me, the reason why I think we might get Tides of Annihilation is because of the behind the scenes thing that they released a few days ago. I still need to watch that. I forgot that came out. Then Richard says, I agree. A new character would work. I'd say the ability. Oh, excuse me. The ability should have to do with plants. That'd be a cool power. That'd be interesting. Have the main character be like Poison Ivy, control plants, and like ride around on like a vine, or they're like Tarzan. It's like Sora in Deep Jungle, just ride around on vines in order to get places. That could actually be cool. I'd be kind of down to see what that would look like. So we're down to the final 5 as far as the first party. So we got Horizon 3, Kane of Scars of Cosmora, the Unknown Media Molecule Project, Project Gummy Bears from Team LFG, and the Uncharted remake or sequel. So where do y'all want to go? I'll take a Horizon 3 won't be there. You know what? Yeah, I'll go with that. I don't think Horizon 3 will be there either. I think we're not going to see that until, because it's not even in, unless they want to show a like an in-game footage trailer of it, like an in-engine trailer of it, in order to shut up the people who are pissed off that Hunter's Gathering is sucking away development resources away from Horizon 3. It's in, I think it's in like pre-development right now or pre-production right now. But PlayStation has shown recently that they're starting to bend on not on like showing stuff that does not have gameplay. I mean, like look at the God of War trilogy remake. That didn't show any gameplay. That was just logos. And it's like almost the number one trailer from that last State of Play. So I don't think people really care as long as you announce. I think in order to kind of like get the heat off of Hunter's Gathering, I have a feeling they are going to show at some point. I don't think it's going to be here, but I think they are going to show at some point an in-engine teaser for Horizon 3. Excuse me, especially if the Decima engine is getting an upgrade. Because I know working on Death Stranding 2 gave the engine a little bit of a boost or an upgrade. So they're probably going to use that as a way to show in-engine footage, whatever you want to call it, of Horizon 3. But again, I think you're right, Richard, in that I don't think it's going to be here. I think it's going to be at the PS6 presentation, whenever that happens next year or whatever. Let's see. Kena Scars of Cosmora. I don't know about this one, even though it is coming out. They say it's coming out in 2026. I doubt it now, especially now that GTA 6 has locked in the fall window. And Wolverine has the summer or the September slot that PlayStation sometimes likes to do. Maybe they'll do Kena Scars of Cosmora in October to get it out before GTA 6 and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 come out. But I think there's a high chance of it being here, but I'm not going to say it's a guarantee. I think what they're probably going to do is announce a delay of Kena and maybe like a blog post or something, or maybe show off a new trailer away from the State of Play. Because PlayStation likes to do this as well, where they have a State of Play and then they show off a new project of theirs. It's like, why didn't you just put this in the State of Play? And I think Kena Scars of Cosmora is going to be one of those games, because I don't think, if PlayStation is smart or just has common sense, which sometimes they don't, I think they'd be smart to get Kena out of 2026. It's like, look, I'm really looking forward to Kena. It's my most anticipated PlayStation game this year. But I would much rather see it as far away as possible from GTA 6. Like that fall orbit, get it away from there. Because people are not going to give this game a chance, especially in the shadow of Call of Duty and GTA 6. There's no way. And like all the big games that are coming out later this year, including Wolverine from Sony themselves. There's no way. So I'm not going to say guarantee that Kena Scars of Cosmora will be here, but I think there is a high chance that it will. And I think they will delay it to 2027. I mean, they just announced today that Fable's going to get delayed to 2027. And they were saying, what, like a few weeks ago, that they were bragging, or Playground was bragging, that Fable was on track to still launch this year. And I'm like, yeah, right. Yeah. Okay, I'm sure you are, Microsoft. I'm sure you are going to put Fable next to GTA 6. Okay. So, let's go with Project Gummy Bears. This is one where I think there is a 50-50 chance of this one being there, because this is the spin-off team from Bungie, and it's something they are going to have, unless they want to do this with all their live services, where they show them. That says a lot about how unpopular this initiative is with PlayStation, where they have to announce these live services away from the showcases or the State of Plays. And even then they get bombarded with shit like Horizon Hunter's Gathering did. So maybe they'll announce Project Gummy Bears away from the state of play and have it be its own thing, like what they did with the 10-minute trailer for Horizon Hunters Gathering. But I still think they're gonna have to show this at some point. I don't think this is a I don't think they're gonna save this for the PS6 presentation, because it's a new studio. Nobody knows who the fuck these guys are, even if they are Bungie talent. Nobody knows who Team LFG is, and they're gonna have they have a massive uphill battle with this one, I think, because if you've seen the concept art of this game, it just looks like yet another one of these bright and bubbly live services that have a ton of cute, quirky characters and crap like that. And they're going for a comfy, cozy, lo-fi vibe, but it's a MOBA Smash thing, I guess. They got a real uphill battle trying to convince people to give that a shot too. So I don't know, who knows? Maybe this might be the next big thing from PlayStation. I don't know. Or it might end up being the next Concord or Fair Games. I don't know. And then the last two are the Uncharted remake or sequel and Media Molecules Project. So I don't think because I think this is what they're working on. I know people are very excited about the possibility of Uncharted coming back, that it's like a sequel with Cassie Drake. Sorry, y'all. I think it's an Uncharted 1 remake. I think, again, if you look at it through the lens of current PlayStation, where they go, we need guaranteed moneymakers, play it very safe. Uncharted 1 remake, that's your thing. That's your thing. I don't want them to leave Uncharted alone. I would actually like for them to do an Uncharted sequel with Cassie Drake, like have it come back like that. But the problem is, I don't know if PlayStation has the... Because they just... I don't know. I just, with their management and the current decision makers there, they are just so risk averse. They are just so... they play it so safe that I think Uncharted 1 remake is a possibility. But I am gonna put it. I'm not gonna put like a no way, because I think, again, after them teasing the God of War trilogy remake, I think they are going to do an Uncharted 1 remake because it's the safe bet. But I'm gonna remove that sequel, actually. Because I think it's Uncharted 1 remake. That's what I think it is. I really do. I know people are sick to death of remakes. People are tired of them. I'm fucking tired of them. I'm fucking tired of getting them. I'd like some more new games. I don't want just remakes all over the damn place. But knowing what I know about modern PlayStation and just some of the things that Naughty Dog has put out on like LinkedIn or online on social medias with some of the game directors that are there, I really do think it's an Uncharted 1 remake. I don't think we're gonna get I don't think we're gonna get Uncharted 5 with Cassie Drake. I'd be happy if we did. That could be cool, but I don't think that's gonna be there. And I think there's a low chance of it appearing at the state of play. And speaking of that, I think that's also a very low chance with Media Molecule, because I think even they are still trying to figure out what their next project is. And that's another studio that I am just very surprised has not been axed. They axed Bluepoint, but they didn't axe they didn't axe Media Molecule, they didn't axe Bend, they didn't axe Haven or Firesprite. It was Bluepoint, which, yeah, that still stings, you know? It's like gone. So there you have it. That's the first and second party lineup that I think will be there, at least my predictions. I'm going to lock these in. But I'm going to take a quick break, and then I will be right back, and then we will get into the we will get into the third party stuff. That is going to include things that some people in the chat have previously mentioned, like Onimusha, Tides of Annihilation, and Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3. So I'll be back in just a few minutes, everyone. Hello, everyone. Thank you for waiting. So let me read some of the comments before we get started on this second part. But I do have some things here from the third party. See. Oh yeah, Modern Warfare 3 is coming to Modern Warfare 4. Modern Warfare 3. Modern Warfare 4 is coming too. Yeah, I still have I've seen like some of the trailer, but I just don't really have a lot of interest in watching the full thing yet. See, I want them to leave Uncharted alone. I think I answered that one already. I feel like we might get a trailer for Final Fantasy VII Part 3 sometime this year or next year. See, that's one of my biggest predictions with that. I think I think I said this in the predictions video, but I think we're gonna get a Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 trailer. I don't know about it being at the State of Play, but I think it's gonna be at either the Summer Games Fest, or my theory is that Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 is gonna be at the Xbox presentation. And I think they're gonna do that because Xbox is gonna throw like a ton of money Square Enix's way. I still think Square and Sony are kind of on bad terms right now, especially after the whole Rebirth thing. I don't think Rebirth really hit, like, I think the beginning of the breakdown of that relationship started with Rebirth, and I think Square is just more interested in promoting their stuff on Nintendo's platforms, and then Xbox will want their kudos with appealing Japanese players, so they're going to want to get Square Enix on their side. I don't think it's going to be an exclusive to Xbox, obviously, but I think as far as the marketing rights, I think they're going to go with Xbox on that one, because I think they're going to have the same mindset that Sega does with their games, where they go, well, our shit already sells on PC and PlayStation, so might as well market it on the weakest performing console and get a Game Pass bag out of it. Might as well do that. It's what they're doing with Persona 4 Revival. It's what they're doing with Stranger Than Heaven. So, as far as Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 being at the State of Play, this is one that I'm going to put a 50-50 chance there. Because again, I think they're going to show it at the Xbox presentation. But there also is precedence, or there's a, yeah, that's how I say it right, precedence of them showing things Final Fantasy related at Keighley's events. Because if I'm remembering correctly, that's when the first big Rebirth trailer premiered. I think it was during Summer Games Fest 2019. No, not 2019. 2023. I think that's when they showed it off for the first time. So if it's not going to be here, I think realistically the best chance is going to be at the Jeff Keighley thing. However, I think them showing it at a PlayStation focused event is still the way to go, because it's like, look, Final Fantasy and PlayStation kind of go like hand in hand. It's like, okay, like I don't know. Hey Rogue Dio, you think they will show a Stellar Blade sequel teaser? I don't. I think it's a little too early for that, but I think it could be a possibility. In fact, let me actually, since I've had a lot of people, let me add that to the list, because I initially didn't have that on the list. I think there is a low chance that it will be there, but I don't think. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me either if it was, because like I said, they could just show off an in-engine teaser of it, and I know that Shift Up is going to make it a big multi-platform release now. They're going to publish it themselves. They're not going with PlayStation to get this out again like they did with the first one. So, do I think it's going to be there at the State of Play? No. But do I think it's like a no way? No, I don't believe that either. So, let me read some of the comments. Whether it will be at the State of Play or not is another story, but we will wait and see. Please remain seated. Your host will return. Oh. I've been hearing a lot of good things about 007 First Light, especially about the gameplay. Be more like Hitman with some Uncharted mixed in. Yeah, that's what it looked like from the State of Play. I wasn't all that crazy about the action scene that they showed with it, but the stuff that had to do with espionage and stealth and getting and kind of like improvising your way out of bad situations, that's the stuff that I'm going, okay, that's the stuff I like, because that's the stuff I really like about Hitman, where you can just get really wacky and creative with certain things. And I don't think 007, from what I've heard, is anywhere near as open-ended as Hitman can be, but it does seem fun. It's just I'm not going to play it right now, but I'll probably get it when it's on sale for like half off or something. Will we be dead before Final Fantasy 20 happens? No. I think we'll still be alive when FF20 comes out. What do I want to go with next? I'll do this will be an easy one. Resident Evil Requiem DLC. I think there's a very high chance for this just because even though they went with Nintendo a lot of cases, they still had a trailer for this at the State of Play last time. So I think DLC being announced here is high chance, and if it's not, I think it will be at Jeff Keighley's thing. Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Let's get some of the more less interesting ones out of the way. Resynced. I think that's a 50-50. Sometimes sometimes Ubisoft is there at a State of Play, sometimes they aren't. Maybe an anime tie-in game. Probably. I can't think of any specific ones that would be there. That because I'm not as familiar with like modern anime as I used to be. So there are like some cases where it's like something gets announced and I go like, huh? What's that? Like what the fuck is that? I don't know what anime that is. Grand Theft Auto, I don't think there's no way. There's no way that's gonna be there. Rockstar does not need PlayStation. Rockstar does not need a State of Play. Rockstar likes to do its own thing. And I highly doubt, even if an offer were presented, the fact that they already got the marketing rights for it, that does not mean that Take-Two or Rockstar are going to play ball on giving PlayStation a GTA 6 trailer to show at the State of Play. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to do that on their own terms, like they've always done with their past stuff. They always have the woman come in and narrate the trailers, and it's always fun when that happens. And I think they're going to continue that with GTA 6. So, what else? Onimusha, I think that is a very high possibility of being there as well. Going back to Capcom. And again, that's another one. That's another Capcom title that kind of hops around, where sometimes it's at a State of Play, sometimes it's at Jeff Keighley's thing. I think it was even revealed at the Game Awards a couple years ago, I think. So, Bungie's second game in development, maybe. I think it's way too early for that. I don't even think they have anything greenlit besides them working on Marathon. I'm saving KH4 for last, Richard. That one, I don't know. Let's see. Oh, this one. I think these two are definitely like very, very high possibilities, considering like those have been leaks. Those have been leaking out like left, right, and center. Whether they're going to be at Jeff Keighley's thing or they're going to be at the State of Play, I don't know, but I think there's a very high chance of Rayman Legends, that the remake I've heard a lot about, and then Rayman Origins Enhanced Edition I've heard a lot about. Like these Rayman has been, I mean, it wouldn't be an E3 season without Ubisoft leaks, but there's that. Maybe a port for Bravely Default. I doubt they're going to show that here. I think probably like Square Enix would show that on their own terms. But let's see what else. Oh, this one, the Untitled Maverick Games project. I think they said they were going to show that in the morning of the State of Play, but I don't know about it being there. So that to me is kind of a 50-50 chance, depending on what their marketing plan is for that, considering this is supposed to be from some of the team members behind Forza Horizon, even as like latest as Forza Horizon 5. I think the game director of Forza Horizon 5 is at this studio. And I think this is one of the projects that was under, I believe it was under Amazon's umbrella, but then Amazon let them go independent. And whether or not PlayStation came in as kind of like an angel investor to create something that's almost like a a rival to Forza Horizon. I don't know if they want to do that, get into the arcade racing game, but that's a possibility. Considering Forza Horizon 5 was like a massive hit on PS5, and Forza Horizon 6 is already a big hit, and PlayStation people won't get to play that until fall. Maybe PlayStation sees a lot of potential in that market now and goes, oh shit, well, all we've got is Gran Turismo as far as cars, and that's more realistic. So let's get something spooled up, or let's go find something to invest in that's an arcade racer. And I think with Need for Speed on ice, I think with Burnout on ice, I think maybe this might be, at least with PlayStation's perspective, I think this might be their best bet with the Maverick Games project. So this is a good one, Virtua Fighter. I think because there was a leak that I saw that showed gameplay of this, and it looks fucking sick. Like, it looks so cool. I don't know though if it's going to be at the Jeff Keighley thing or if it's going to be at the Xbox thing. The reason it makes sense to me, and the reason I'm going to put this as like a high possibility here, is because PlayStation right now has kind of become the dominant console for fighting games. And if Sega was smart, which sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't, if Sega was smart, I would think they would want to show off Virtua Fighter here at the State of Play on the platform of the console brand with the like highest percentage of fighting players now, especially considering PlayStation used to own Evo or a part of it before they sold it off, unfortunately. But I think the best bet for Virtua Fighter, considering it is, sounds repetitive, but obviously it is a fighting game, and they're gonna want like fighting fans to see it and be into it. And PlayStation, it's kind of been the dominant fighting platform for a while, besides PC. I think they'd be smart to put it there, and we know they have a behind the scenes video in the works because again, it got leaked, and it didn't just have gameplay; it had structured interviews with some of the people behind the scenes were working on that game. So, oops, that was an alarm that went off. So Virtua Fighter, I think, has a high chance of being here at the State of Play, and I think it looks really cool. If they haven't taken it down yet, I highly recommend like checking out that video if you can find it. It like that gameplay. I mean, it's a little like it's like that third party camera kind of thing where they're filming like on a screen from their phone, but they're filming the TV of it while that behind the scenes video is playing. But even with that like less than ideal footage, or the way it's being presented, that game looks really good. So I'm curious to see a more high quality version of it. So I'll go with Big Walk next. That's an easy one. That's from the Untitled Goose Game people. That's set to be a PlayStation Plus title at launch. So I think there's a high chance of that being there. Give it a release date. Remind people again that it's going to be a PlayStation Plus Essential day one launch, which rarely happens, but they want to get the biggest possible audience for a game like this, considering it's a big multiplayer goofy thing. So let's see. Let's go with Tides of Annihilation. So I think there is a 50... I'm not going to say there's a high chance of it being there. I think there is a 50-50 chance of it being there. And my reasoning for that is the existence of that behind the scenes video, which tells me that, because I know they originally wanted to have this come out this year, but I just don't think that's going to happen. I think they are going to delay this to 2027, and I think they are going to kind of keep their cards close to their chest with this one, because this is another one that the views on that trailer from the State of Play that it was in last January 2025 were really, really big. It was like one of the highest viewed trailers, and people seemed really into the idea of it and the concept. But I think there's a 50-50 chance of it being here. But I also think it's one of those games that maybe might appear on Jeff Keighley's stage instead. And I'm trying to remember if this was a PlayStation console exclusive, like Phantom Blade Zero is, but I think it's going to be available on PS5, Xbox, and PC simultaneously at launch. At least from what I remember, that's what they're going to do. So, speaking of Phantom Blade Zero, this is coming out in September, like a couple days before Wolverine does. So, I don't know. I don't know about guarantee, even though it is a PlayStation console exclusive. I would say high chance of it being there, just to kind of remind people. And again, unless Jeff Keighley wants to be the one to do this, or they had some kind of deal with him, because they had a deal with him for the Game Awards last year with that really sick ass trailer that played during the Game Awards, where they showed things like the drunk Fu and more bosses and stuff like that. I think this game looks fucking awesome. Like, I can't wait to get my hands on this. It looks so cool. But I think there's a high chance of it being at the State of Play. All right, down to the final 5. Let me look at the comments before I get to the final 5. I also think there's a chance we might get a teaser for the next season pass for Street Fighter 6. Oh, right. The one that supposedly has Tifa in it. That could be cool. That could work. I mean, it makes sense considering PlayStation fighting games and all. I am curious to see what she looks like though in that game. It's crazy to me, because I thought Tifa would be in Tekken at some point, because to me that's the series that makes more sense. But I guess Square went with Capcom on that one. Like, okay. You think PlayStation wants to get their Japanese audience back? I think they want to, but I don't think they will. I mean, they don't seem to be very good at attracting a Japanese audience anymore. I mean, they're trying. They're somewhat trying. I'll give them that, like a little bit, but I don't think it's enough. I think they've seeded the ground way too long to Nintendo in that territory for them to make any kind of real meaningful comeback among just normie Japanese gaming people. I just think Japan is Nintendo land now. That's Nintendo territory, and just honestly, people just don't really seem all that interested in the stuff PlayStation is making over there. It's PlayStation, unfortunately, has just kind of morphed into very like Western America or Western Europe, Western America focused kind of thing. That's the bed they've made over the last generation, so now they have to lie in it, and they can't act all shocked when Japanese audiences don't really take them all that seriously anymore, or respect them or care about the stuff they make. These two, Castlevania Belmont's Curse and Control Resonant, I think I think Castlevania Belmont's Curse has a good chance of being there, because that is like, it's within the 40th anniversary of Castlevania, and that would be a big thing. And Konami and PlayStation seem to be on very cuddly terms these days. They kind of have that relationship now with, at least like from a marketing perspective, they kind of have that relationship now with Konami that they used to have with Square Enix. So I don't know. And then we'll have to stick with this. I think Silent Hill Townfall will also be here as well. I think there's a high chance for that. I keep clicking that. Damn it. I think both of those a high chance. Control Resonant, I think, is more than likely going to be at the Keighley showcase, because Remedy likes to bring things to Jeff Keighley. So I think that will be at the Summer Games Fest instead of the State of Play. Now this one, the John Wick game. I think there is a very high chance of it being here at the State of Play, because more than God of War, more than God of War, the Pixel game, and the remake trailer. There was one trailer among the one, a lot of them last time for a State of Play that just dominated in terms of views, and that was the John Wick game that got announced from Saber Interactive. And I think, and again, I don't think PlayStation is smart sometimes, but I think if PlayStation is smart, they will want to court Saber and Lionsgate to show that game again at the State of Play and give it its title, show some gameplay, and just generate more crazy amount of views for that trailer. Like, show like a big gameplay presentation of it, like a good like 2-3 minute trailer of John Wick just fucking people up, and I think that would be fucking sick. That'd be awesome. Like, I'm already really, really interested in this John Wick game, but I need to see more actual gameplay. I need to see how they're gonna design the combat. And the final one, and this should not be any surprise that we're talking about KH3. Like, if you know anything about me with the channel, you gotta bring up Kingdom Hearts 3. This is one where I am debating between no and low chance. Like, the small optimist in me wants to say no chance, or low chance, just because it's like there's that little glimmer of hope that exists there that Kingdom Hearts 4 will be there, and it will be like that triumphant return to the spotlight that I've been waiting for like 4 years now, ever since they announced it back at the Kingdom Hearts 4 or Kingdom Hearts 20th anniversary event. And we're about to hit the 25th, less than a year away from 25 years. We haven't seen shit from this game. But I'm going to go with the realist in me. And I hope I'm wrong, because this would make for a really great like stream moment. I'm going to put Kingdom Hearts 4 in no way, because I think Square Enix is going to want to prioritize Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3. Whether that's at the State of Play, whether that's at the Summer Games Fest, whether that's the Xbox showcase, or hell, whether it's even at Nintendo. I don't know. But and Rogue Dio, you asked a good question. Why does it take so long for KH4? Is it just because of the Disney IPs? No, it's because, for one, there's a couple of reasons. For one thing, I think Nomura is just not a great manager. I think that's one problem. I think they're also trying to do this thing again where Nomura is involved with Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 to like a lesser capacity, but he's also juggling that with KH4. You also have the kerfuffle behind the scenes of Missing Link getting canceled, which was the stupid mobile game that was going to be a big introduction to some of the elements of Kingdom Hearts 4. So now they're going to have to figure out a way to get the lore from that out into the ether. And I don't know whether that's going to mean putting it into Kingdom Hearts 4 or releasing a separate thing about it. I don't know. And then there's also the transition from Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5, which they that original Kingdom Hearts 4 teaser was made in Unreal 4, but Nomura said when that trailer came out that the game was going to be in UE5 instead. So they've been working on it like that. And I think just general turmoil behind the scenes at Square Enix with the new CEO coming in and them making management changes behind the scenes and them reprioritizing certain IP. I mean, you had that the Dragon Quest 12 team. I mean, they said they were very like up. I was shocked by how upfront they were about like, hey, we had to restart development on this because our original vision was not working. And I feel like a big part of that too was with the behind the scenes, like the new CEO coming in at Square Enix and some new management coming in. It's been a very weird time for Square Enix. So yeah, I just I really want to believe in my little like the wide-eyed bushy-tailed little part of me wants to believe that Kingdom Hearts 4 will be here. Or we'll just appear sometime this year in general. Even if it's not this summer, it's like just something, just please something. Even at this point, it's like I don't care. Even if it's like give me another collage of like 360p screenshots, like what they did last year, as like a little apology for canceling Missing Link. But I just want to see something from it. It's like by this point in Kingdom Hearts 3's development, we had multiple trailers, we had multiple world confirmations, we had lots of details. KH4, you got one little teaser, you got a collage of 360p screenshots, and then nothing. Not a fucking thing for 4 years. Which sucks. Suffering out here. Hey Shinobi Gaming HD. Hope you're doing well. Maybe Sony needs their own farming simulator. Yeah, that might work. Maybe they just need to try new genres because they're just so dull. So anyway, that's my list. I'll gladly answer some more questions from chat before I go, but that's going to be the list. So these are the guarantees. High chances are here. 50-50. Low chance. No way. I think the stuff that's no way, I think it's like reasonable that it's like, yeah, this won't be here. But let me read some more stuff. Predictions. PlayStation announces PS Plus. Oh god. Going to $20 a month for basic and $40 for premium. Market conditions. Now $40 is too low. You're thinking too low, Shinobi. It's got to be like $100 for premium because you got to pay $100 a month for the privilege of streaming those old games that they could just release native to do backwards compatibility and release natively. You gotta pay $100 a month for all those demos and quotes, the trials. I'm sorry, PlayStation, the trials. PlayStation announces PS5 will be $1,200. Ugh. Will we get a movie trailer during the state of play? You know, we definitely love our movie trailers during a game showcase. So I know I do. That's what I don't really watch game presentations for the games. I watch it for the movie trailers, guys. I'm trying to think, what, like, are there any fucking movies that PlayStation like is actively working on right now, or is it just like Last of Us TV show season 3 and Twisted Metal season 3 or whatever? Are they even like working on anything? I don't even know anymore. Oh, the Helldivers movie. That's right. I forgot about that. They have that Helldivers movie coming out next year. They've got the Ghost of Tsushima anime, which we'll see how that goes. That may be interesting. But I can't think of anything as far as like live action. Oh, the God of War show. That's right. That's filming right now. I forgot about that. I always forget that that's coming out. I think that's just a stupid idea to do that in live action. I think it's a bad idea for them to do like the Horizon movie as well. Duh. I think it's such a bad idea for them to do the Horizon movie as like a live action. And I think it's a really bad idea for them to do God of War as live action. Because that first image from the God of War TV show, it looks so it looked wrong. It looked like it just looked really cheap. It looked like a porno set. It looked like it just looked like they were like cosplaying in like some kind of porno or something. It just looked really off. Like I didn't like Kratos was gonna be like, I gotta go back home and bang Freya or something like that. Like that's what he looked like. Like he just looked like they just found some dude and just like slapped some white paint on him and we're like, or ashy paint on him and are like, all right, dude, Now you're just say some dumb lines and then go back and I don't know, we'll film a porno with you and whoever's playing Freya or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Um People are saying we're getting Legend of Dragoon remake. That's not gonna happen at all. Let's see. Did you get my question on Intergalactic? Oh no, I don't think it came through. No, I don't think I saw it. What's your question on Intergalactic? Curious. Because I don't know, Shinobi. I don't remember if you like Naughty Dog or whatever. I hope it's not a question about Neil Cuck. I hope you don't word it like Neil Cuckman or something. Because I don't like. I don't know. I don't like people calling him that. I don't care what you call Neil Druckmann. Aside from that, I just don't think it's funny. I heard PlayStation is mad at Naughty Dog for lack of games this gen. No, I know Intergalactic's not getting canceled. That was misrepresented. Because Jason Schreier was talking about how the budget, which this is not a big surprise, like the budget for Intergalactic and the timeline had like ballooned way beyond what PlayStation wants. So, and then PlayStation is not particularly happy about that. That does not automatically mean that they are like angry at Naughty Dog or that they're like in serious trouble with Naughty Dog or Naughty Dog is in serious trouble in the eyes of PlayStation. They're just annoyed that the budget, like, which this has been I don't know why PlayStation is surprised by this. This has been a problem with Naughty Dog for many, many years, where their budgets balloon out of control and then their scope creep happens and then there are delays and then they have to rework things. Like this happened with Uncharted. This happened with Uncharted 4. This happened with The Last of Us Part 2, and now it's happening again with Intergalactic. I don't know what PlayStation expected with this. I think FF7 Remake Part 3 will be at Summer Games Fest. I was spoiled on the name of the game, by the way. If you're interested, I can tell you what I've heard. No, I'm good. I'll leave it as a surprise, Shinobi, but I appreciate the offer. I think you weren't here for this, but my theory with Final Fantasy VII Remake is I think it's going to be at the Xbox presentation, because I think that's going to be like Xbox's big like clout, or trying to be like their big clout moment with Japanese gamers. Try to like court more Japanese gamers, because it seems to be like them and PlayStation, or they do this like song and dance about like we love Japanese gamers, and they just like there's like an Olympics for appealing to Japanese gamers among PlayStation and Xbox. And meanwhile, PC is just sitting there, and Nintendo is just sitting there like, okay, like whatever. It's that image from The Simpsons of the monkeys like fighting in that circle, and then you have like the guys standing around like with money in their hands. The monkeys in the middle are PlayStation and Xbox duking it out for online Japanese gamer street cred, and then meanwhile you have Nintendo and PC market looking at them and being like, okay, buddy, sure, buddy. After FF7 remake, can we get a possible FF9 remake? I think they were working on it, but I think it's on ice now, from what they were saying. I'm pretty sure it's on ice, which just sucks, because I would be curious to see what they could do. I don't want them to do what they did with remake with 9. I would just prefer they just did 9 as a turn-based RPG. Don't fuck around with the gameplay like what they did with the 7 remake games. As much as I love the combat in 7 remake and especially in Rebirth, I don't want them to do that to 9, because the aesthetic of 9 works better as a turn-based RPG. Like it feels more classical and comfy and homey, which is the vibe of Final Fantasy 9. That's the intended vibe of it. But then to see like fucking Zidane, like when Garnet like flipping and flying around and shit, it's like okay, like no, don't do that. Don't do the thing where these characters are like defying gravity by like jumping in the air and doing crazy ass anime moves and shit. Like I really really don't want to see Zidane just like doing somersaults and like weirdo gravity defying shit. Like I don't want to see that, please. this will be the last question, just because I do have to go in a little bit. But what would be the crazy? This is a good question to end on. What would be the craziest thing PlayStation could announce that would catch you off guard? Well, it's either going to be Sly Cooper, and I don't mean like a remake, or I would want them to make like an actual like brand new Sly Cooper game that's in the style of Sly 2. That's a dream. Or the other one, the obvious one, is Bloodborne 2. That would just like blow me away if they were to do that. But that's not happening, unfortunately, because Hidetaka Miyazaki wants to be involved, and PlayStation respects him too much to try to do like a Demon's Souls remake style kind of thing with that. So there's safe, boring answers from me, but I think Sly Cooper and Bloodborne 2 are the big ones for me. But I don't know. I think anything that would actually break the mold of things they've been doing over the last like 5 to 10 years, I'd be down for that. Like if they announced like a weirdo, like I don't know, like weirdo puzzle game under PlayStation Studios via like a in a second party capacity, or just genres that are like a really trippy ass survival horror game, just something that's outside a Legend of Dragoon remake would shatter the internet. That would be wild. I'd be very shocked if they did that, because I don't think PlayStation has any interest in making their own turn-based JRPG again. I don't think that's going to happen, sadly, but that would be fucking awesome. Anyway, that is going to be me for today. So I appreciate you all coming out for such a short notice stream. So thank you so much to everyone who came by. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, RJ Emerson. Thank you, Nero. Thank you, David. Thank you, Red Riot Robot. Thank you, Rogue Dio. And thank you, Shinomi Gaming HD. So next time I will be on will be the State of Play. That's going to happen next Tuesday. Stream will start at about 1:30. And we will watch the State of Play together, and we will see if PlayStation's confidence in this presentation we'll see if it's misplaced or not. I'm not really like, I'm interested to see what it's gonna be, but I'd rather they just not hype this up and have it be a surprise to me that it's really great, like the last one. I don't usually like it when they do these overinflated expectations and them hyping it up into frenzy. But oh yeah, I'll be watching the Xbox showcase. Yeah. So next week I'll be doing State of Play on Tuesday. Then I'll be streaming the Summer Games Fest on Friday in the afternoon. And then next Sunday will be the Xbox Game Showcase, where they're going to show that off, and then the E-Day stream at the end of that. And I think that's the not E3 season, so some busy week ahead of for me. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day. Have a good one, everyone. Take care. Goodbye.